What if tomorrow your local grocery store ran out of food? Not for an hour or a day, but for weeks. What if your children asked for milk and there wasn't any? What if you had money, but nothing to buy? This isn't a scene from a science fiction movie. It's not a what if anymore. It's now. It's 2025, and the global food crisis is no longer a distant headline. It's here, and it's getting worse. Everywhere the signs are undeniable. In wealthy nations, food prices are exploding. A bag of rice costs double what it did last year. Eggs are a luxury. Bread is being rationed in some stores. Middle-class families are slipping into food insecurity. And in the poorest parts of the world, famine is knocking on the door. But how did we get here? It didn't happen overnight. The roots of this crisis go deep, tangled in decades of political inaction, climate denial, broken supply chains, and economic inequality. The warning signs were there: erratic weather, crop failures, global inflation, and wars that disrupted trade. Yet most governments and institutions ignored them. Because as long as store shelves stayed full in rich cities, the hunger of distant nations remained invisible. But now the crisis is everywhere. Let's start with the facts. This year alone, wheat yields in North America have dropped nearly 40% due to extended droughts and record-breaking heat waves. In Asia, extreme flooding wiped out over 20 million hectares of rice crops in Bangladesh, Vietnam, and parts of India. And in South America, soybean farmers are dealing with soils so dry and cracked that nothing will grow. The price of basic staples, rice, wheat, corn, and soy, has soared across global markets. Countries are panicking. Export bans are being implemented. Black markets are growing. And in the shadows of it all, giant corporations are quietly profiting. Let's be clear, the shelves aren't empty everywhere, but they are increasingly inaccessible. Food exists, but at a cost many can't afford. The crisis isn't just about shortages. It's about access, about injustice, about who gets to eat and who doesn't. In the UK, food banks are overwhelmed. The Trussell Trust reports a 63% increase in demand since January 2024. In a small town outside Manchester, a 10-year-old girl fainted in class. She hadn't eaten since the previous morning. Her teacher, in tears, said, "We never thought hunger would return like this. Not here." Across the Atlantic in the U.S., similar scenes are playing out. One mother in Ohio works 2 jobs, yet her fridge is nearly empty. "We buy noodles, we stretch meals, we go hungry so the kids don't," she says. This isn't poverty in a distant land. This is the heart of the modern world. And yet, while millions struggle to eat, hedge funds are buying up farmland. Investors are pouring billions into food futures, treating grain and oilseed like stocks. They don't care about hunger. They care about profit. The more prices rise, the more they gain. It's legal, it's ruthless, and it's costing lives. But what about the people on the ground? The farmers. Farmers are the backbone of our food system. But in 2025, many are giving up. Climate change has made growing conditions unpredictable. Subsidies are shrinking. Fertilizer prices are soaring. A farmer in Kenya says, "We used to grow enough for our family and to sell. Now we pray it rains at all." A grower in California had to leave half his land unplanted due to water restrictions. His family has farmed for 4 generations. "We might be the last," he says. And while climate change drives droughts, floods, and soil erosion, political leaders still debate its legitimacy. Instead of acting, they argue. Instead of funding solutions, they subsidize polluters. Instead of preparing for scarcity, they waste food. Nearly 30% of all food produced globally is still lost or wasted. That's enough to feed over 1 billion people. In Yemen, families now survive on boiled leaves. In Haiti, mothers mix mud with salt to feed their babies something to quiet the hunger. In Venezuela, bartering has returned. Rice traded for diapers, beans for medicine. But this isn't just a humanitarian issue. It's a geopolitical one. As food becomes scarce, conflict is rising. Protests have erupted in over 30 countries in 2025 alone. From Sudan to Sri Lanka, Tunisia to Turkey. Governments are falling. Populations are enraged. When people go hungry, they don't stay quiet. And as nations close their borders to protect their supplies, global cooperation is collapsing. Even major food exporters, like India, Argentina, and Russia, are cutting off exports to secure their own food stockpiles. This leads to shortages in dependent countries and adds more fuel to the fire. The crisis also reveals a hidden reality. Food is power. Whoever controls it controls everything. But amid all the darkness, there are sparks of hope. Grassroots movements are rising. Community gardens are blooming in urban areas. In Nairobi, slum residents have turned rooftops into vegetable plots. In London, abandoned car parks are now vertical farms. In Detroit, food co-ops are bringing fresh produce to underserved neighborhoods. Technology is helping too. Solar-powered irrigation in Africa, AI-guided precision agriculture in Asia, drought-resistant seed varieties being tested worldwide. The answers exist, but the question remains, will the world move fast enough? Because if we don't act, things will only get worse. The UN warns that by the end of 2025, over 1.2 billion people may face acute food insecurity. That's 1 out of every 7 people on Earth. And if climate trends continue, the number will grow, year after year. We must ask ourselves, how did we let this happen? And more importantly, what will we do now? Governments must prioritize food sovereignty. We need fair trade policies, emergency food reserves, support for local farmers, and real action on climate. Wealthy nations must not hoard, they must help. Billionaires who talk about philanthropy must open their wallets now, not later. And each of us, as individuals, must change how we consume. Waste less, support local, speak up, share resources. The fight against hunger is no longer about charity, it's about survival. If you've made it to this point, it means you care. You feel it, the weight of it, the urgency, and maybe the fear. But there's also power in that, because awareness is the first step toward change. So don't let this message stop here. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it with someone. Let's turn awareness into action, because hunger doesn't wait, and neither should we.